But this year, there have been nearly 300. Cynthia Tornquist checked whether that change has passengers concerned.
Travelers heading for the nation's airports, most confident in the airline's ability to fly them safely to their destinations, while some worry whether air travel is safe.
There's nothing more awful than these accidents that have been happening, especially with planes that you take for granted.
It makes you nervous. I've always said you can't walk to Hawaii, so, you've got to fly, so.
Nothing's happened to me. Nothing's happened to anybody that I know. I can't think of anybody who I know who's had any consequential, problems with this kind of thing, and that it does tend to get exaggerated.
It still feels the safest way of travel, too. I mean, they interviewed everybody in a car accident on a highway this weekend. There would be a lot more people than, any airline crashes.
Passengers of some American Eagle flights discover their flights are canceled. The airline is grounding flights in 6 cities because pilots want more training before flying in icy weather.
They really interfered a lot because I'm going to Kalamazoo, Michigan, and American Eagle is the way I usually go. So we had to drive from Sacramento to this plane.
In New York, passengers prepare to board flights with Tower Air at Kennedy Airport. The airline reports 20 people canceled their flights following news that the FBI is investigating incidents of sabotage of some of Tower's jumbo jets.
Obviously, I'm concerned if the ground crew is involved or somebody who's supposed to be fixing the plane is actually sabotaging it. That's a cause for concern. I just hope that they have, more extended checks before we take off.
Before a graduating class of air traffic controllers in Daytona Beach, Florida, FAA Chief David Hinson says air travel is safe.
It is absolutely far, far safer than when I started flying in this business back in 1954.
But no matter what assurances travelers get, psychologists...
17,000 to lose control. Federal investigators suspect icing may have caused an American Eagle ATR 72 to crash in October, killing all 68 on board. But the FAA is optimistic the French manufacturer will be able to get them flying again very soon today, including some operated by charter lines. Kiwi's flight stopped.
We didn't think we had it logged right. We didn't have the I's dotted, the T's crossed.
Jim Reeves, a former Eastern pilot, believes Kiwi's problems with the FAA amount to fallout from recent crashes involving commuter planes. But he's confident Kiwi will be able to bounce back from its hiatus.
We've all been through it at Eastern where we've lost our jobs. We're not going to let it happen here.
And the FAA is now inspecting Kiwi records to make sure all of its pilots meet requirements. The airline, founded in 1992, serves 7 cities, including Atlanta. At this time, it's not known how much the grounding has cost Kiwi in terms of lost revenue. We're live from Hartsfield International Airport. Tom Regan, Channel 2 Action News.
Tom, thank you for the update. Well, frightening moments aboard a TWA jet arriving in New York from Puerto Rico. One of the 5...
Absolutely sure that we did not get tarred by that brush, so we put ourselves on the ground.
Iverson admits Kiwi has a complicated and old-fashioned record-keeping system, but he insists he didn't ground the airline's 42 flights for safety reasons.
To make the FAA absolutely comfortable that we were a safe operation, and in fact they did say that this was not safety-related.
While it was shut down over the weekend, Kiwi chartered aircraft to accommodate passengers that could not be handled by ValueJet, Continental, and the other carriers. Now the big question is, what's the impact the shutdown has had on Kiwi bookings?
We haven't had any fall off in traffic. In fact, we have had about a 40% increase in calls to reservations trying to book us in the future.
Well, Kiwi's president says every airline is simply mired in paperwork, but with the dramatic emphasis on air safety these days, one airline got targeted, his. Well, stressing its safety record, Kiwi says it had 23,000 flights this past year and hasn't even blown a tire. Cynthia?
Bill, how do you think this will affect other airlines?
Well, I can tell you, certainly there is a big fear that paperwork and the paperwork jam-up is going to shut down other airlines, and they are working, you can be, and rest assured, working around the clock to make sure they don't get caught up in the same fix, having to shut down to straighten out the files. So they are working diligently, I can assure you. Cynthia?
All right, thank you.
If you're going to travel, try to do it in the next 2 days. They are the least heavily traveled days. And then secondly, if you are going to travel by air, try to arrive at least an hour before your departure time. That way you can check your bags in and then handle any last-minute occurrences. If you want to leave Atlanta in one of these, first have to make it through here. During the holidays, that can be a daunting, trying, and exhausting task. Christmas is the second busiest travel day next to Thanksgiving. Just ask John Burris. He has to work Christmas.
Yeah, I mind, but once again, we just relocated here, so I need the money.
To handle the holiday rush safely, the airport will have security ready for the crowds. During Thanksgiving, an extra 3,000 parking spaces were added here at the airport. Officials here say those spaces are still available, so parking during Christmas shouldn't be much of a problem now that there are more than 24,000 places to leave your car.
For people that are traveling, I would recommend if they go or travel next Thursday or Friday. Those are the days that we don't have as many advanced bookings right now.
John Reynolds is one of the people heeding the advice to travel early.
Well, we understood that there was going to be a lot of people coming, so we went to make sure we beat the early travelers, seeing everybody's going away for the holidays.
But not everyone has the luxury of leaving a week before Christmas. Jan Hunter is leaving the day before Christmas, and she says she's regretting it.
Oh, it's always dreadful that you've got to travel on Christmas and you have to get to your destination, and that was the best time for us. So.
Well, if you're traveling coming home for the holidays, the best day to travel, well, you've got it is Christmas Day. So if you hold a ticket and want to fly on Christmas Day, you probably won't see a lot of people out there with you. Reporting live from Hartsfield International Airport, I'm Jay Ariano. But it will fly today. Kiwi officials say 70% or 7 out of 10 flights will leave Atlanta today. The news Kiwi is flying again is good news to these people. Carol Avery thought she may not be able to fly to Florida to see her family for Christmas.
And I got real worried that I wasn't going to get to go and started panicking and thinking, uh-oh. How many passengers?
Most of the passengers are aware Kiwi is canceling flights, but not Greg Benson. The first he had heard about the service interruptions was when he was standing in line at the ticket counter. Cancellation is something he says he never considered.
No idea at all. I just expected to come here and take off and end up in Orlando. I had no idea that it could be delayed in any way at all.
7 out of 10 Kiwi flights left here today. The officials say about 36 out of 46 system-wide also flew today. They said they should be back around 100% by midweek. Reporting live at Hartsfield International Airport, I'm Jay Ariano, Channel 5 Eyewitness News.
Jay, these are such critical times for airlines financially and for their reputations. Does Kiwi expect to suffer any long-term public relations effects with its customers?
Now, John, they said actually things were going pretty well. They did spend an awful lot of money, they said, chartering planes and trying to get people on other airlines because they accepted some of the responsibility for the problem. But they said the people understood it and they treated them fairly well, and they expect them to come back and fly Kiwi.
All right. Jay Ariano.